China's military is sounding the alarm on Starlink, Elon Musk's SpaceX-powered satellite network that has been a game-changer for global communications and even military operations. But why is Beijing so concerned? A new Rand Corporation report warns that People's Liberation Army sees Starlink as a direct threat, and the US should brace for more provocative space confrontations. Here's what we know. The US military's global space dominance is under scrutiny once again, this time over Starlink. A new Rand Corporation report warns that China could target SpaceX's satellite constellation as it rushes to build its own equivalent network. The reason? Starlink's capabilities threaten China's military strategies in low Earth orbit. The report suggests that the PLA tends to exaggerate and catastrophize the threat posed by Starlink, and it probably believes it can prosecute more provocative operations against the US without risk of escalation. This fear-driven perspective comes straight from the top. President Xi Jinping himself has reportedly ordered a worst-case scenario approach to US space tech. The PLA's biggest concern? Starlink's resilience. Unlike traditional satellite systems, Starlink's decentralized network of thousands of satellites makes it difficult for China to neutralize. The PLA prefers a strategy of disabling adversaries by targeting key nodes. But Starlink doesn't have a single point of failure. The alarm bells in Beijing started ringing after Starlink's impact on Russia-Ukraine war. The network provided crucial battlefield communications for Ukraine, reinforcing concerns in China that an integrated US military capability in space could threaten its strategic defenses. The Rand report notes that China views Starlink as a major disruptor of its military operations. China is now racing to close the gap. The country is developing at least two proliferated low Earth orbit networks, including the Quanfan constellation, which aims to have 14,000 satellites in orbit by the 2030s. Meanwhile, China's state-run Guowang project, deemed a national-level strategic priority, is being positioned as a direct counter to Starlink. But China isn't just worried about Starlink's communication capabilities. Chinese analysts fear that Starlink satellites could be used for electronic warfare, missile interception, or even kinetic attacks on other spacecraft. These concerns stem from the network's adaptability and military applications seen in real-world conflicts. The US Space Force is already taking note. Vice Chief of Space Operations General Michael Guatlin recently warned that the US needs to rethink how it protects its satellites. He highlighted what he called dogfighting in space, controlled and synchronized movement by Chinese satellites signaling potential threats to US assets. The report also cites past tensions, noting multiple instances where China's Tiangong space station had to perform evasive maneuvers to avoid Starlink satellites. These close encounters have fueled Beijing's fears and reinforced the urgency to develop a rival network. With China aggressively pushing forward in the space race, the US must stay ahead. The Rand report suggests that Space Force should prepare for escalation dynamics, warning that the PLA could start testing boundaries in ways that may not initially trigger an armed response, but could still significantly disrupt US space operations. With Saurav Sinha, Bureau Report, India Today Global.